There's no inherent conflict between human beings. People have to be taught to dislike each other. What we typically refer to as conflict is often differing methods to a similar goal. High context cultures, low context cultures, personality types, personal differences could all be sources of perceived conflicts when in fact they're more about our approaches to goal attainment. We want similar things, but not all the same things. We don't all want the same things. There's more than one car company. Our gene selection is almost limitless, and the resources we seek to advance our lives can be augmented, replaced, or repurposed. How we communicate could also be a source of conflict. Conflicts in communication often result from a lack of understanding culture, a lack of time-building relationships, and a lack of understanding core motivations. Many individuals would rather avoid conflict, as leaders must use our tools of communication to help navigate perceived conflict. Understanding group dynamics. Bruce Tuckman in 1965 said that these norming, forming, storming, and performing phases are all necessary and inevitable in order for the team to grow, face up to challenges, tackle problems, find solutions, plan work, and deliver results. As a leader, it's important to use the tool of communication to navigate individuals and groups through conflict to results. Forming the team meets and learns about the opportunities and challenges, and then agrees on goals and begins to tackle the tasks. Team members tend to behave quite independently. They may be motivated, but are usually relatively uninformed of the issues and objectives of the team. Team members are usually on their best behavior, but very focused on themselves. Mature team members begin to model appropriate behavior even at this early phase. The meeting environment also plays an important role to model the initial behaviors of each individual. The major task functions also concern orientation. Members attempt to become oriented to the tasks as well as one another. Discussion centers around defining the scope of the task, how to approach it, and similar concerns. Storming. In this stage, participants form opinions about the character and integrity of the other participants and feel compelled to voice these opinions if they find someone shirking responsibility or attempting to dominate. Sometimes participants question the actions or the decisions of the leader as the expedition grows harder. Disagreements and personality clashes must be resolved before the team can progress out of this stage. So, some teams may never emerge from storming, or may re-enter that phase if new challenges or disputes arise. In Tuckman's 1965 paper, only 50% of the studies identified a stage of intra-group conflict, and some of the remaining studies jump directly from stage 1 to stage 3. Some groups may avoid the phase altogether, but for those who don't, the duration, intensity, and destructiveness of the storms can be varied. Tolerance of each team member and their differences should be emphasized. Without tolerance and patience, the team will fail. This phase can become destructive to the team and will lower motivation if allowed to get out of control. Some teams will never develop past this stage. However, disagreements within the team can make members stronger, more versatile, and able to work more effectively as a team. Supervisors of the team during this phase may be more accessible, but tend to remain directive in their guidance and decision-making and professional behavior. The team members will therefore resolve their differences, and members will be able to participate with one another. Norming. Resolved disagreements and personality clashes result in greater intimacy, and a spirit of cooperation emerges. This happens when the team is aware of competition and they share a common goal. In this stage, all team members take the responsibility and have the ambition to work for the success of the team's goals. They start tolerating the whims and fancies of the other team members. They accept others as they are and make an effort to move on. The danger here is that members may be so focused on preventing conflict that they're reluctant to share controversial ideas. Performing with group norms and roles established, group members focus on achieving common goals, often reaching an unexpectedly high level of success. By this time, they're motivated and knowledgeable. The team members are now competent, autonomous, and able to handle this decision-making process without supervision. Dissent is expected and allowed as long as it's channeled through means acceptable to the team. There is no inherent conflict between human beings, although we may want many of the same thing. How we attain these things may be quite different. People have to be taught to dislike each other. As the song statement from the musical South Pacific, to hate and fear, you've got to be taught from year to year. It's got to be drummed in your dear little ear. You've got to be carefully taught. Here are 3 things to think about. Conflict is often rooted in a perception that goals can't or won't be accomplished or reached. Conflict can be mitigated when we seek to understand culture, goals, and motivations. All human beings are looking for safety, significance, and belonging. And here are 3 things to do. Educate the group on the learning and life cycle of groups: forming, norming, storming, and performing. Practice working through conflict, team building games or activities. Hold the group accountable for conflict negotiations by working through them and reminding them of the goals and outcomes.